Okay, so this is a new one. Good evening and salutations, my GH and Days fans. Okay, so this is going to be a two-part video. First part is going to be General Hospital, that's the title. And then the second part is going to be Days. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in the description box the time where General Hospital Reviews ends and when Days review begins. I'm trying to come up with a new way to do all four without it being just a lot. And I feel like this is just a lot better. So we'll see how it goes and if it's a huge issue and I'll just go back to just doing one or the other. Obviously I'm still gonna do the General Hospital review, so yeah. Okay, so Carly, Mr. Brennan, doing the usual flirty kind of thing that's going on after talking about, which I'm not gonna lie, I could have swore that Brennan gave Carly the exact update that she gave that she gave her before. I'm not too sure, but I'm pretty sure that he gave her the exact same update, or maybe it was Felicia and Robert. But anyway, he tells her that Jason and Anna is actually meeting with Sitwell, got invited to the compound so far. So, he kind of gives her, like, I guess different scenarios that can work or whatever, Like she says that Jason's not a good liar. But Anna, well, clearly she is. So, she's kind of worried and he's kind of like not giving her too much, but just enough where it's like, he's Jason, he got this, but it's not going to be an easy road. So while they're, doing their thing or whatever, Diane comes in there. Diane sees this whole thing and she pretty much shuts it down. At first I was like, I'm not gonna lie, I was a little kind of dumb for that. I was like, yo, why are you cock blocking for? Like, what are you doing? But after he leaves and, Diana's like, I need to sit there and speak to you for a little bit. He leaves and Carter's like, what's going on? And then I realized that she was like, have you forgotten that you are Sonny's alibi? Like, what do you think that's going to look like if you sit there flirting with other men and things of that nature, or whatever? So it's like, bottom line, it's like, you can't do that. You got to actually sit there and step it up. And Carly is not too happy about that. She was like, oh, it was a one-time thing or whatever. And she seemed like she's kind of annoyed by it. I'm like, well, you already signed up for it. So, like, I'm not really, interested in the whining part. Let's just get to the part where you actually understand that if you don't do this, because here's the thing, she already started this process. So if this whole alibi falls apart, not only will Sonny go to jail, but her ass will go to jail too, as far as being an accomplice. So all that whiny, blah, 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 blah. Nope, you in it, you gotta sit there and do it. It is what it is. So, then we go into the other side of Port Charles. And we got Sonny that's can't figure out how to use this new expression machine, and Natalia, just jack of all trades apparently. Um, she goes on with this long story about how she was, one time she was working at some sort of, I don't know, coffee place or whatever, and helped this guy out as far as like fixing the coffee machine or whatever. That was like this really old coffee maker. And so, long story short, she's able to sit there and fix it. And they sit there, and Sonny's sitting there talking about how he's worried about Christina and Alexis and their legal troubles. And I'm just like, that's funny. You're the one that actually sat there and killed John, but you're worried about your daughter and your daughter's mother's legal trouble. Now you sit there and solve all their problems. You can just simply confess. No, you don't want to do that. You like to get life outside and just, being rich and everything like that, blood money. Okay. All right. It's just one of those things where it's like it amazes me sometimes. When I started doing this whole review thing and just watching soaps and whatever, I would be one of those people that would be like, oh man, it really sucks, like making excuses in a sense and be like, that's Sonny for you. He's always, looking out for his family and protecting his family and stuff. And now I'm just like, you're literally the cause of your daughter's and Alexis's pain at this point. You can stop this at any point in time. So for you to sit there and say, yeah, I'm just really worried and stuff. I've really been sleeping a lot. Well, I mean, that's what happens when you kill people. So I don't know what to sit there and tell you. Oh, wait, you can sit there and tell the truth. No? Okay. So, there's a point where Carly comes in and sees Sonny holding Natalia's hand. Carly's like, hey, listen, we need to sit there and talk. Sonny's just like, okay, you can talk. You didn't think I was going to, like, stop doing what I'm doing, right? But eventually, Natalia gets the hand and she leaves, and Carly's like, you can't be sitting there flirting with whatever her name is. Because we gotta sit there and sell this whole alibi and everything. And it gets to a point where, at first he's a little kind of annoyed or whatever. He's like, oh, it's supposed to be like a one-time thing. I was like, no, 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 no. Carly doesn't sit there and get a boo-hoo moment, and your ass don't get one either. Okay, you're the one that you caused this whole thing, like literally. So you need to just sit there and shut the f up and go along with the damn program at this point. But they try to make it where it's like, well, we got to sit there and be honest with the kids and stuff. We got to be honest with Donna because we don't want to sit there and break her heart and stuff. I was like, oh, okay. Um, how honest are we gonna get in this conversation? That's not gonna really matter. I mean, it would matter if legal stuff or whatever, but sure, Carly, fine. So they both agreed to just kind of um, not see other people and just kind of dial it up in a romance and stuff and go out to dinner and be in public and everything like that. So, um, yeah. Now Dante is, helping Christina, get settled back home and everything and um, everything like that. So they're talking. I don't even remember what they were talking about. Oh yeah, she's worried about her mom and everything. And then at some point, Chase comes by. Chase is like, I have some more follow-up questions about your whereabouts. I can't even believe that we're actually at this point. I wrote lawyer, right? And it turns out she didn't even get a lawyer. Why did she not get a lawyer? This can't be a money issue because I mean your father's rich. So she doesn't have a lawyer. She decides to not get a lawyer. Dante's there and Dante leaves. But Dante calls Diane Miller, right? I'm sitting there thinking, Christina, your sister and your mom, both lawyers. Have you learned nothing from either one of them? No? We're just gonna sit there and start answering like kind of vaguely questions with Chase. And then she realized, like, oh my goodness, this is so stupid when she was talking to Diane. Because Diane gets there. And at some point, she talks about how she took a ride share. And I'm just like, stupid. Mm. Again, this is kind of an issue. Because, Kate Manson, come on, boy, you look like you somebody that has like two kids. I expect a little more level of brightness coming from you. But she realized that she made a mistake or whatever. Eventually, Diane does get there, and Diane kind of shuts it down a little bit. And Christina's starting about to sit there and start opening up, and Diane's like, no, 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 I'm not your lawyer. I'm not your lawyer, but you need to get a lawyer, though. And Christina talks about how she messed up or whatever, but, since it's not admissible in court. And this is something else. And long story short, Diana's like, get a lawyer. So she leaves. Now Chase is upset with Dante, and Chase is like, well, I was not there doing my job. I was like, hold on. I almost feel like I need something stronger than this damn water at this point. You're doing your job as far as interrogating a suspect without legal counsel. You do realize that, like, if you do stuff like that, that the case could be thrown out, evidence that you may have, confessions or whatever that you might get, whatever it is, will not be used in the court of law. This is, I get this is so bad. I do. The problem is that they already established a rule with Diane Smith just saying, hey, listen, whatever he said to you, I mean, whatever you said to him, it can be used in court. I mean, yeah, he can dig and dig and dig and try to trace back to something that may put your ass in jail. But I'm just like, Chase, you're supposed to be smarter than this. Have you learned nothing from your time as far as messing around with Nell Benson? But yet you're gonna sit there and interrogate her without counsel. So anything that you get may not even be used in court. Let's just sit there and say that she did do it. Then what? What are you gonna do then? You do realize there's a good chance that the whole thing could be thrown out because you didn't bother to sit there and you know, like interrogate her without legal counsel. But he's not there telling Dante like, oh well, you messed my you messed my my investigation or whatever, and I could I'll let it slide now, but next time I can sit there and report you. Yeah, he can report you too. Who do you think is going to get in more trouble at this point? You know, the sad part is we know who can probably get in more trouble, but because soap operas and their wacky laws and physics and dumbing people down for plot points, plot convenience, I'm pretty sure it will be Dante. Just because. Okay, so Molly decided to do something nice to TJ, give him some breakfast or whatever of like dry ass bagels. But she tried, listen, her heart was in the right place. I'm not gonna knock her. TJ's like, well, this is really nice and sweet and everything. Where were you last night? So she said she went to some place called the Dirty Something. I was like, I'm sorry, did your bougie ass just sit there and say you went to some dive bar? I don't know how he doesn't even question that, by the way. But okay, sure, whatever. Um. So anyway, the hell did they actually talk about? I'm only still going off the string theory of Chris Alexis protecting Christina. Because Alexis wouldn't protect Sonny, but she would sit there and protect Christina. You know, I get that you and your sister aren't getting along, and I get for the sake of plot convenience because you're usually smarter than this. You do realize that John had other enemies, right? Yes, Christina was seen with the gun and everything like that, and she's protecting her. Have you ever thought that it may be somebody entirely different? And it could not even just be Sonny. I mean, he's an FBI agent. He's put away bad guys. I'm pretty sure he has a long list of enemies that may want to sit there and come at him and hell, even use this as a smokescreen. No, 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 no. We're just going to sit there and focus on Christina. So, there's a point where TJ is like, listen, you don't have to do this alone, and you don't have to just be the strong one because, Christina and her train wreck of a life or whatever. So they talk for a little bit, and then, Molly's like, hey, listen, I got to go to work. Enjoy the dry as bagels, and I'll try to see you at home or whatever. So Stella comes in, and TJ's like, I'm trying not to sit there and resent her, but I'm starting to. And then we get right. I swear, this is the point of the video where I feel that I can just put another piece of my other video in it because we're right back to the same goddamn thing. Tell me if this sounds familiar. Cheetah is pretty much telling Stella that she's not handling her grief properly, that she's diving into work, and he wants to sit there and ask, could we go and sit there and see Irene, Irene or whatever, and she just is so busy, she's just diving into work, she's not handling her grief properly. It's just like, and he wants to lean on her, but the thing is, like when it comes to his grief, I know people in the comment section are going to sit there and say it's that in an ideal world you sit there and lean on your partner and perfect this or whatever, right? That's not how grief always works. And I'm like, TJ, instead of sitting there trying to rely on Molly to, and granted back and forth, maybe you should sit there and worry about getting your own grief counseling, leaning on your family for support. And that's exactly what Stella's doing. Stella's like, you got to sit there and give her some time to handle her own grief. People sit there and say, like, they look at it, it's like, well, she's not handling her grief properly. I'm like, well, sometimes in grief, it's like, at the present time, it's not ideal, but like sometimes it's just to keep going. That's how she's handling her grief. And it may not be perfect, but it's her way. And you have to sit there and kind of respect that instead of trying to control the situation and control how she grieves. This is my issue that I'm having with TJ. And I've had this issue in the past before. And it seems like it's something that just keeps popping up where it's like he's trying to control or trying to manage her emotions and stuff. And it's like, bro, listen, I'm all for the patriarchy. I really am. But, bro, you're going to have to sit there and let this woman breathe a little bit. Um, what else happens? Oh, so Alexis wakes up to Heather's face, which is, pretty lovely. And, of course, she didn't get a lot of sleep. And, Heather being kind of sympathetic. Which, by the way, also shame on Sunny. Somebody told me that I forgot that, doesn't she has, like, weak bones or whatever? She's going to Pentonville. Do I need to sit there and say anything else? Um, but yeah, Heather is being empathetic or whatever, or sympathetic. There's a word for it, and I can't think of it, but towards her grief or whatever, and the loss of her grandchild, and how she was hoping that she was going to get out so she can hold her grandchild, and I'm like, why are we sitting there trying to like try to have this woman come across as us being sympathetic for Heather, who's a damn serial killer? Why are we doing this for her? But Heather's like, hey, listen, while you're in here, I got your back and everything, and um, I'm like, okay, I don't really know why, but oh yeah, you're now on a poison metal again. Marty comes in there. Well, Marty requests her, and they talk and everything. Long story short, Alexis confesses everything, and I mean everything. And Marty's like, you need to sit there and recant your story. Alexis like, I can't do that because Christina is fragile. She will break at this point if um she gets examined and stuff like that. I don't think that she did it, but she can't take this. So she refuses to recant any part of her story. Smarty's like, okay, cool. We're gonna have to sit there and go with option number two. And option number two is proving that the person that's paying me, aka Sonny, is the real killer. Now, I wonder how she's gonna sit there and feel about that. Because I mean, I think she'll actually be okay with it. Ultimately, because she knows she's smart enough to know that it's a lose-lose situation. She can want to go into jail for something that she didn't do. She doesn't want Christina going to jail for something that she didn't do. And no, most likely is Sonny. Yeah, yeah. Because I mean, yeah, it's nice that Sonny sat there and paid for a lawyer to try to get you out of jail. But I mean, if you don't get out of jail, you're like, don't worry, boo. We can appeal this in like 5 years. Nah, F that. Nah. Yep, I think that's pretty much about it for this portion. I might have left some stuff out here or there, but that is the general gist of the episode. Now, if I missed anything, write it in the comment section below. Um, if you're a Days fan, I'm gonna sit there and start the other part of this video. By the way, I'm gonna sit there and give a huge shout out or blame. Um, Dolometics depends on how this review actually works. So if you're a Days of Our Lives fan, this is going to be the second part of the video. Um, and I will see GH fans and Days fans tonight in the live stream, and we'll sit there and talk about this and more. Good evening and salutations, my Days of Our Lives fans. Okay, I'm going to sit there and start off with Leo. And particularly, I'm starting off with Leo because I thought that this. Here's the thing, I get it. A lot of people are not fans of this whole body and soul storyline. But one of the reasons this weekend I was actually looking forward to it was for Johnny and Chanel, for conflict. Because me oh my have those two just been extremely boring. And I'm gonna get to that in a minute. But this whole body and soul thing comes across as like a parody of a soap opera. Hell, this scene in particular kind of comes across as a parody. So Leah's not there writing, um, scripts and stuff like that, and Hattie comes over. And Hattie's like, well, she comes over with all these different notes and stuff like that. And she's like, I need you to sit there and do a rewrite. Now, Leo explained to her that anything that has to be rewritten has to go through, Kate and Nate first for approval before it goes out. Which, by the way, why the hell are you allowing or even entertaining the idea that Hattie sits there and gets more lines, starts changing stuff around and things like that? I'm like, that's not her job. You need to sit there and put in your big boy pants and tell her to stay in her damn lane. But instead of doing that, for some odd reason, he decided to not just go against his better nature, which he should have done, and against the rules of production, and decide to just start changing things around and thinking everything's going to be fine, right? Like, what? These are last minute changes. Now, one of my good friends, Nathaniel Gray, General Hospital Mason, would sit there and tell me just how many lines and stuff like that he has to remember. And now you're sitting there telling Bonnie, yeah, I'm just going to sit there and just change your stuff around too. So, good luck. So, anyway, speaking of Bonnie, who was talking to Alex, talking about how she's going to get some sort of sweetheart deal from Justin where she gets X amount of vacation days and more money and things of that nature. And I'm just like, you don't deserve any of that. You don't deserve any. And I could have swore that, or maybe she said this on the way back. But anyway, she's like, I deserve this, I deserve that. I was like, you really don't. You don't know how to act. Yeah, you had one good, passionate part, but in what universe do you think you're going to get all this on a startup budget of a brand new soap opera? Pretty much. But you guys have to remember that, Bonnie is a dingbat. So while she's not there just going off at the mouth and everything, Alex is kind of worried about working with Chanel. Um, Speaking of Johnny and Chanel, let's get to them real quick. Okay, so Johnny and Chanel are talking about how excited they are for working together and photo shoots and this, that, and the third, right? And they get like this last minute change or whatever that they have to do a love scene off rip, right? Now, from a artistic standpoint, I can understand where it's like, wait, what, what are we doing? Why are we starting off with a love scene? This is something that Leo decided to do. Actually, it wasn't the last minute change. He decided to do that right off rip. And so, about to call Raven, Chanel's upset about it. And I'm kind of just like, bro, you do realize at some point you was going to have to sit there and do a love scene. And so, Johnny is upset about it too, but I'm like, Johnny, bro, you the one that decided to sit there and hire your wife to be in a soap opera. And what do you think that they're going to do in a soap opera? So honestly, to tell you the truth, you really need to just kind of shh. On top of that, you're not the writer. You're the director. Stay in your goddamn lane, which is something that he doesn't do since he decides to go to Leo and starts questioning. Well, why would you sit there and put a love scene first or whatever? And he tries to explain all the different reasons why. And Leo's like, this is what I want to do. And at this point, between because he already had enough of Hattie. So at this point, he was like, no, I'm not doing it. I'm putting my goddamn foot down. He should have did that from the start, but whatever. And again, I didn't feel bad for him. I was like, bro, stay in your damn lane. You're the director. He's the head writer. Like, shh. Um. So anyway, I think he goes back and he tells her, and she's all kind of like upset or whatever. And I'm just like, bro, if you don't like it, you can always sit there and take your ass back to the damn bakery. Like, let's just be real. You can always stay your ass back at home and go back to the bakery or whatever. Um, I could have swore. Hold on, let me double check my notes. But anyway, her and Johnny gets a text as well as Bonnie and well, as well as Bonnie and Alex that they have a photo shoot and they're going to be doing it tonight. And they got Eric to sit there and do it on the cheap. And by cheap, I mean that they're not actually going to pay him anything. And Eric is just, he's just so nice about it. He's just like, I just want to do this for the fans and everything like that. I'm just like, you realize that you do have a child at home, right? I mean, it's nice of you, but whatever. Anyway, um, this is something that Abe and Stephanie talked about. So they're like, this is like last minute when everyone down there to the set, right? So they get everyone down there. Now Bonnie's first, and she wears this like really beautiful dress or whatever. And Eric, I guess this is how photographers talk or whatever, right? So he's taking pictures of words like, oh yeah, oh that's hot, this sexy, yeah, oh yeah. Just, I'm not gonna lie, I'm laughing my ass off. I was like, you know what? For 6, 7 in the morning, this is actually pretty funny. This is good. And then Hattie decides to come out with the same dress. Now, I don't think that she knew that Bonnie was, wearing a dress or whatever. So I think this was just a pure accident. But Bonnie sees her, and Bonnie's like, no, you need to take that off. You need to take that off right now. So they start fighting and everything like that, and just doing all this stupidness. And I don't know if this is before or after, but at some point, Hattie talks to yeah, this was that Hattie talks to Leo, and Hattie's not. No, Bonnie. Bonnie talks to Leo, and Bonnie's like, "I'm not happy with the script. Like I don't like how this script is like representing me, and this, that, and the third. Which, by the way, and I didn't mention this before because I'm kind of going over a little bit. She does get kind of disappointed because Justin tried to get her this deal that she clearly did not deserve. And Kate was like, yeah, that's not happening. Um, Bonnie was like, no, it's okay. I kind of feel like I'm attached to the character. I was like, you didn't even do your first scene. Yeah, you did a mock run with her, but like, did she really just sit there and say she was attached to the character and you didn't even start? Like, whatever. Anyway, long story short, and I think this is towards the end, Bonnie is talking to Leo, and Bonnie's like, I don't like this script or whatever, and if you don't sit there and change it, then I'm going to sit there and walk. And I'm just like, okay, you do realize that they can sue you. And I could have swore Hattie actually also threatened to quit. And again, I'm just laughing my ass off because I'm just like, how they can sue you. So like, go right ahead. Like seriously, go ahead, quit. I'm pretty sure they will both be happy because you two are not only dingbats and don't have any experience with acting, but your personality is just grating. So yeah, yeah, it's actually kind of a win for the company at that point. So during this whole photo shoot or whatever, Chanel pretty much has resting bitch face, right? And Alex comes in with this 80s jacket on or whatever. And both kind of stand side to side and they're talking and they both agree that like a love scene right off the bat is just like this is like really kind of stupid. Um so anyway, it kind of softens the mood a little bit. They start telling each other to hold each other a little bit. Well, um Eric. And of course, Kate was like, take off the jacket and stuff. Put your arm on his. I mean, put your hand on his chest or whatever. So to get a little more closer and stuff, and holding each other and stuff. And at some point, they start getting really handsy, right? Which is what they're supposed to do because they're lovers and stuff. Johnny comes in and Johnny sees it and he's all like mad and like kind of like hurt a little bit, and I'm just like, oh wait, you don't expect us to actually be like feel sorry for you, do you? Because I'm looking at this, I was like, bro, this is your idea. This is your handiwork right there. You did this, and I saw the previews, and I saw him get his little hissy fit attitude and everything like that, and I'm just like, this is your fault. I want you to know this is your fault. So you acting like a goddamn crybaby. No one cares. But again, this is part of the reason why I'm enjoying this body and soul part. Because they definitely need some conflict. And you know what? I'm cool with the humor. Because it just comes across as a parody soap opera. It reminds me of the episode of Seinfeld when they actually start doing their show. Um, and they had to work with like their doubles and stuff, so it was like a show within a show, if that made sense or whatever. So I'm cool with it because of all the different problems that they have to sit there and deal with. Yeah, it was Hattie that says, fire Bonnie or I quit. Like, yeah, okay, sure, good luck with that. Um, but it's funny. It's all for laughs. And to be honest, I don't really take any of those characters seriously. I don't even really like those characters, so I'm cool with the humor. Surprisingly, which is really odd because I think if it was like maybe 6 months ago, I would have been feeling like I want to pull my goddamn hair out. But now I'm just kind of just going along with this goofy ass ride. Anyway, I feel like that's pretty much about it. Now, if I forgot anything, I'll write in the comment section below. I'll come to the live stream tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We'll talk about all the shows, General Hospital, Days of Our Lives, Bold and Beautiful, and Young and Restless. Um, yeah, this video is a little different, but I don't know. I'm having my doubts about trying to combine videos, but I also think it'd be kind of cool, too, in a sense. Okay, I'm just gonna sit there and just be a little honest. It's easier for some odd reason just doing one whole video about two soap operas than it is to sit there and separate them, oddly. Um, it just seems more draining. It's like the more videos you put out, the less views you get on your videos because it's like it's not notifying enough people. So I figure like this was kind of a workaround instead of just picking two soap operas to do. Um, and it'll be the same thing with Y&R and B&B. But I want to try this little weird experiment with General Hospital and Days of Our Lives. Um, anyway, with that being said, I'm gonna go. I will see you in the next video and live stream.